Okay, so we're here as we are every single Newcastle home game. We're going to be speaking to Newcastle fans. The transfer window is shut. Newcastle have ended up with 65 million burning a hole in their pocket until January. We're going to be speaking to Newcastle fans to find out exactly how they would summarise the transfer window, and also be doing post-match interviews as well. So if you're not following the Northeast Updates YouTube channel, make sure you like, follow and subscribe below. Okay, so we're here with Toon fans.
Yes, John, Jack.
So transfer window, slam shut now. How do you think it went?
Disastrously.
Disaster, yeah.
Aye, definitely. Aye.
Yeah. Just expand on it. Why would you say that?
Well, we need more signings, don't we? So, didn't get them.
Yeah.
It happens. It does happen. They made better players.
Yeah, I mean the saga was basically Guehi as well, like that. Do you think it was Palace moving the goalposts a bit too much, or do you think it's the club's fault? How do you kind of say that's Newcastle?
It's the money. It's Palace wanted more money for him.
Yeah.
I would have had him, but it was out to Palace.
So you're blaming Palace and not Newcastle?
I'm blaming Palace.
Yeah. Yourself?
Same as Jack. Blame Palace. Aye.
Should we have had a plan B? Because I did a video through the week and I said it seemed like there was no plan B for when this didn't happen. Do you think Newcastle should have had something? Because obviously we're going in the season now without a centre-back signing.
We could have had a plan B, but obviously if you want one target, then you're going to chase that target, aren't you? So,
yeah. Would you like to see Newcastle go back in for him in January, or do you reckon that's it for him?
tell him to piss off.
Yeah.
I would go for somebody else.
Yeah. When you say tell him to, are you?
No, Palace. Tell Palace.
You don't want to do business with
nah,
Palace?
Definitely not. No, no.
And then we were linked with the other couple of players. A lot of them a bit panicky buy, with Elanga in particular. So that was a deadline day move. What are your thoughts on him? Is he what we need? And what did you think when that kind of got circulated?
Definitely not what we need. Nah, not what we need. No, don't dislike him, but need something else.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and it was a move that involved Miggy as well. Do you think he's an upgrade on Miggy? Do you reckon he's £30 million better than Miggy? Or
I'm an upgrade on Miggy.
An upgrade, yeah.
I'm an upgrade on Miggy.
Yeah, your thoughts?
Yeah, he's all right, Aaron.
Yeah.
He wants to stay. Everton wanted him, but he wanted to stay. He said no.
Yeah, and then obviously we got linked with James Trafford as well. We've already signed 2 keepers. What was your thoughts on that?
No, definitely not. Got enough. Got 5 or 6, haven't we? So, no, definitely not.
Do you not rate him as one for the future? Because he's a lot younger than Dubravka and Ruddy and stuff like that. Do you think maybe that's what they were thinking? And do you think he's good enough for that, or what?
He's good enough, but if you've got 5 goalkeepers, when's he going to get a game? He'll never get a game, so, nah.
Yeah. Thoughts on Ruddy? Not Ruddy, rather. Trafford?
No.
No?
I wouldn't have him.
Not at all?
No.
And then where do you think Newcastle are going to finish now? Obviously the transfer window is shut, we can't spend anything if we want to do now. Where will Newcastle finish, and where did you have them to finish last week?
Top 4, now they'll finish 6th.
Do you think we're going to lose 2 places because of the bad transfer window?
Definitely,
yeah?
definitely.
Yeah, top 6.
Yeah, and then today, how do you see today going as well against their...
It'd be a tough game, because Tottenham beat Everton 6-0. 4-0, sorry.
Yeah.
But I hope we win. But it'd be a good game, but I don't know what the score's going to be.
2-1 Newcastle.
Yeah. Goal scorers?
Isaac and Gordon.
You're saying that. I mean, I'm positive as well. I don't know which way the game's going to go today. For me, it could go any way. We've not played very well the last 3 games and stuff like that. What do you put that down to?
Beginning of the season, so can only get better, can't it?
Yeah. Was it anything to do you reckon a new signing would have obviously given the players a bit of a boost as well? That was my thinking.
Could do, aye, definitely, but time to gel, isn't it? So if we win today, things will look better.
Yeah, right. Right, okay, so we're here with Newcastle fan.
Yeah, James McCarthy,
Transfer window, sum it up.
Shite, am I allowed to swear?
Done it?
It was shite,
Yeah.
If you sell Minter and you sell Elliot Anderson and you avoid PSR and you get away from all that, and we've made a £22 million profit on the window, they've put a £50 million bid in with Miggy Almiron into Fulham for Elanga. For Elanga? Really?
You not rate him?
No, well, he's all right. He would help the team, but he's all right. Yeah. You got this Paul Mitchell in to get foreign talent, and he's been all over the world. He's been in scouting networks all over the world, and then he doesn't want nobody from. That's Eddie Howe, by the way. Mm-hmm. But you've got that from Eddie Howe to Paul Mitchell. He's got to listen to Paul Mitchell to get some young players in from away. Yeah. I mean, look at Isak, look at Bruno. They're all from foreign teams. You can't just pick Premier League players like Elanga. Yeah. Elanga's alright, but he's not. There's loads of players from all
bargains as well abroad.
There's bargains. And look at Brighton. Yeah. Brighton, the sell Caicedo. I mean, everyone's terrified about selling Isak and selling Bruno. And Gordon. I think Gordon. If we do shite from now on, I think Gordon will be away at Liverpool. But if that does happen, nobody's bothered if we're Brighton, because they sell Caicedo, they've got more people coming through all the time. They've got young players coming through. Yeah, but we haven't got that, so they're terrified of losing Isak and Bruno. If we don't get top 4, we don't get no type of Europe, they'll be away.
Well, that's my next question as well. So a month ago, where did you think Newcastle were finishing? And right now, with the transfer window slammed shut, where do you think Newcastle are going to finish?
Well, I thought we'd get Europe.
What is Europe? Is that top 4? Is that top 6? Is conference?
I thought we'd get top 6.
Okay.
But if they were to sign somebody, were to sign a right winger or a centre half, because you've got bottoms out till January, and then you've got Croft and Dan Burn. I mean, Lloyd Kelly looked shite the other day.
Didn't play great.
He looked shite. I mean, I know he's a half decent player, but he's not great.
He's like a fringe player, and rather than a regular first team.
Yeah, I mean, he can do a job now and again, but I mean, how really Lloyd Kelly on a free to get top 4? But
so where are you thinking now then? So obviously we're sitting on 65 million that we can't spend till January. Season's going to be halfway done. Where do you reckon Newcastle finish?
I think we'll pick good points up at home, and if we sign a right winger or a centre half's different, because if Botman comes back in January and he's over his ACL, then there's not a problem with Botman and Shaw. Yeah. Lascelles come back, he does a job, but if we sign a right winger January, we may get top 6. But look at Brighton, and you've got good teams coming through. We've had a shot at it. Villa's had a shot at it. I think Brighton are. I've just watched Brighton yesterday, and they look good. Yeah. They look good, mate. So I don't know, really. If we get top 6, I think we'll be lucky. But we'll have to sign somebody in January. Yeah. Otherwise, we're right in the shite.
Where do you put the blame? Because obviously you mentioned the sporting director. You've Palace possibly to blame if they were moving goalposts. Where do you see the Guehi deal breaking down? Whose fault was that?
There's been this thing come out lately on Twitter and that there's a problem with, from the Saudi owners to Darren Eales, the fact that Amanda and Murtad have been pushed out. And Amanda, when I watch the documentary, and that's all you've got to go off, is they broke at the full deal for Anthony Gordon, and that's who they wanted.
Very hands-on.
They're hands-on, and if they're going to go and get somebody, they go and get somebody. So if they want a Guehi, that have been down there, they're more of a face. They're not just a company or a paycheck. Amanda's broke at deals all over the world. She's done a Man City deal, and if you're going to get somebody, then you need somebody who's going to front that deal and get them over the line. And if they're just chucking money, 60 million, 65 million, 70 million, it's not going to work. You've just seen him come out and say that, we want as much as we want possible for Guehi, because his price is going to drop this season, because he's not going to be as good as he was in the Euros.
It's always had a great start in the Prem, conceded loads of goals.
He's been shite, but he's English, and he's in the Prem, and he had a good Euros. That means he's 70 million pounds worth, which is bollocks. There's a million players all over Europe that are centre halves that can do a better job than Guehi.
But value as well. Yeah.
Value.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid from, what was it, Leipzig? Leipzig, Leverkusen, what do you mean Leipzig? He went to Saudi. He's 40 odd million. When we're going to pay 70 million for him, he could have been a better player, but you never get the chance. And you've got to go abroad, and you've got to speak to people. And if we don't have Amanda and Murad now, who's broken our deals? Darren Eales, because he's arsing about at the club. So you've got to have that other person in place to go to other clubs and broker deals. And if they've got the gift of the gab to get the players over the line, and now we don't have them, you've lost someone from the club.
Yeah, I was going to ask you another question, but you've touched on a very good point. With Amanda gone, do you reckon that's a big thing for the club, or do you not reckon? Obviously, she was only partially kind of in, but like you mentioned, she's very hands-on. I picked that up in the documentary as well.
Yeah, it's a massive loss, because we've talked about all for 10, 15 years of Ashley. You've had no correspondence from the club, no front man to tell you what's going on. And the first thing they've done when they got here, they told me what was going on, what the plan was, and then the transfer winners are told me this, that, and the other. And then, so who's the spokesperson now? Darren Eales at the Stack, because he's going to get a pint chucked off him if we go to the Stack now, because he's brought nobody in. So who is it now? Who is the person that brought the deals? Who's the person, the face of the club? If you've lost anybody you lose from a club, anybody that's pushed out and when it's going well. We got top 4 and it was going well. They've pushed them out of the club, you've lost them.
I mean, I personally thought that they would do a statement as soon as the transfer window slammed shut, because a lot of fans have got a lot of questions on why it wasn't spent and stuff like that. The last question that I've got for you is Guehi in January. Do you reckon the club will go for him, or do you reckon we should just wash our hands of it?
Wash our hands of him.
Yeah.
Because
is that because of Palace, or is that because of him, or just because it was getting cracked?
It's not the player. The player's good. He's a good player. He had a good Euros. He's a decent centre half, but how many other decent centre halves is he? And I can't remember his name. The Palace owner that come out and says
Parish. Yeah.
Parish. He come out and says, we've got a generational talent, and he's amazing. He's this, he's that.
Picking him up.
You're going to say that because you want 70 million for him, because you know that this season his value is going to drop because he's an all right centre half. When Palace finish shite this season because they've lost a couple of good players, they've lost at least say it to Bayern, and
They've lost their other centre back.
they lost another centre half. So what? Where are they going to finish? Bottom half? Maybe he's 10th, maybe he's 9th, maybe he's 8th. But really, his value's going to drop this season, and then we're going to pay 70 million for him. So no.
Do you reckon go back in for 50 or 40, or do you if his price drops, it's a bit of a bargain compared to, or?
I'd take him for 40 million.
40.
But
40 is reasonable. That's personally
it's reasonable
yeah.
because I like foreign talent. I mean, everybody goes, "Oh, I've seen him play last season," when you haven't. Foreign talent that comes in, you watch your Premier League, you might watch the odd Bayern game or the odd Real Madrid game. You know the big players, but these young players. That's the whole point of having a scouting network. You see these young kids coming in. Look at Brighton, man. They've got players on players. I mean, Arsenal yesterday, I don't recognise one name, but they play well together. They're good players, they're good solid players, and if you're going to sign somebody, you need solid players from far away lands.
Yep.
But
Okay, so we're here with
Harry.
Harry. Transfer window shut. Thoughts on it?
Naff, very quick, just naff. I mean, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I try not to get a head loss. I did get a little bit of head loss. Especially when we were like linked with Elanga. That seemed to happen so fast.
Yeah.
And I think he'd have been ideal. And Mickey going the other way, it works out, but wasn't to be. But we got January, and I think Tonali coming back, new signing, and that's kind of like what you got to look at, I think, to keep positive.
Yeah, a lot of people on social media, they're blaming the club, they're blaming Palace for the whole Guehi breaking down. What do you think?
I don't think anyone's at fault. If it is PSR, it's PSR. I mean, so far I'm gonna believe what the club say. I'm gonna believe what Eddie says, because what's the point in supporting your club if you don't believe them? Yeah. But Palace, they dragged it out. I mean, yes, that's on them. It was 60, then 65, then 70, then 75. So that was never going to happen, really. Looking back now, I mean, they were just pulling our leg and taking us on a wild goose chase, really.
Yeah. And then January, would you like to see the club go back in for him, or do you reckon we're burnt with bridges with Palace or him?
I don't know if Simakan got that move, because he was linked with us and then he was linked with Saudi. I wouldn't mind to go for him, much cheaper, similar age. With Guehi, cracking player, don't get me wrong, he proved himself in the Euros, but it's the England, isn't it? It's the England link, that's what increases the price.
Tax, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that, yeah. So, I mean, go after someone else. I mean, look to spend the money wisely. Don't break your transfer record on him, I don't think.
Yeah. Where did last week or a month ago, whatever, where did you think Newcastle were going to finish at the end of the season, and where do you think they're going to finish now the transfer window shut?
How we've been playing, I'll say we're going to finish similar to last year, maybe like 7th, just missing out, maybe just creep in possibly. With the transfer window, I mean, I was negative. I'm a bit doom and gloom. I'm a bit of a pessimist, so I don't think it'll be too great, but I'd say 7th, 8th, and I don't want that to be the case, but I think it will be.
And then, obviously, you mentioned performances. We're getting the results somehow through penalties and a couple of others, but the results the performances haven't been great. What do you put that down to as well?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, it looks like we've missed something. I mean, compared to last season, even last season we're playing well, and this season we look a bit lost. I think Tonali will be a massive boost to the squad.
What do you think of him midweek as well?
Class, isn't he? I mean, it's like he hasn't been gone really. He was blown out his arse at about 60 minutes, like, so it was a good job we pulled him off. And then probably from then, get him back on and start him again today. He might want to have that substitution so he gets the big roar when he comes on. But I'll start him again. But Barnes, Gordon, maybe try them together. I mean, they work well. They're both direct. We need someone who's direct. We haven't had someone really in the midfield that is so direct, apart from Joe Linton, but I don't know. We'll look lost in the midfield. We're scrappy in defence. Shaw, bit of head loss in the Southampton game, so something's not right. But I think it'll get fixed.
So when you mentioned 7th and 8th as well, that's a bit of a risk that Newcastle might not qualify for Europe, all because we're sitting on money that we can't spend. Is that very frustrating?
It's frustrating and it's worrying because of the players we've got. Who knows what Isaac, Bruno, Botman has been told behind the scenes. They might have a clause where after a certain amount of years they can move on if we don't get European football over a certain period of time. Or they might just be like, well, I'm better than this, I can go further. I mean, Isaac could get in the majority of your top teams, obviously apart from City. We all know what Haaland's like. But all of those players that we're really talking about could get into those top teams and be in the Champions League every season. So that could be in the back of the mind. But Bruno being made captain, I think it's a nice little move, to a bit of blackmail almost, isn't it? It's like, you stay with us a little bit. But I want them to stay, but I wouldn't blame them if they were to leave.
Right, okay, so we're here with Newcastle fans.
Kinley.
Ian.
Right, transfer window, it's officially closed. How would you rate it overall? Been waiting a while to do this video, but now it has slammed shut.
Disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like if you had to grade it like A to F, what are you giving it?
Oh, like a E.
An E.
Yeah, at best F. Yeah, it's poor.
How do you rate the new technical director who's coming, sporting director rather, who's coming? He's replaced Dan Ashworth. This is his first kind of mission that he sort of had. Is it him? Is it the club who's kind of made the balls up with the whole Guehi thing?
I think we limited his options too much with Guehi. So as soon as Parish started batting us off, I think that then affected probably a deal for Elanga. So the seemed that we'll keep coming back. Should have been that offer after second bid for Guehi.
How many bids do we put in from? About 5 or something? I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, isn't it, really?
And then transfer deadline day itself, we've seen a flurry of kind of bids going. The main one was Elanga. What's your thoughts on him? Is he what's needed at the club, and is he better than Miggy? What's your thoughts?
I think we need a right-sided attacker more than we needed a centre half, in my opinion. But they want 35 million and Almiron. Nowhere near.
Is that what they were offering?
Yeah. Or at 45 million in Almiron.
It depends on who you read. It was going up apparently.
That makes him a £60 million player. Well, Elanga isn't a £60 million player, is he?
Yeah.
So
Is it bad that we had to do that on deadline day? A bit of a panic and stuff like that. Yeah.
it looked like there's no plan really. Yeah.
I mean, I said there's no plan B sort of thing. It was just we chucked all the eggs at Guehi and nothing else. How do you feel then going into the season, knowing that they've got no money, no players rather, we had 65 million that we're not able to spend? How do you feel about Champions League, Europe, and the rest of it?
Well, I mean, you can use it in January, I suppose, but
I think other teams have improved their squads and we haven't. So I think teams looking to try and get sort of like top 7, top 8 have all strengthened their sides. I mean, how much Brighton spent 200 million in transfer window. All our competitors in there, they've all sort of like strengthened the squads. But we've got Tonali coming back. You know, I think he'll make a massive difference. He looked good in spells at Forest game. So I'm not despondent because I don't think we needed to spend that kind of money on 2 players. What would that be? 70 million on Guehi, 60 million on Elanga. I don't think it's value, to be fair.
agree, to be honest. Like, 70 million for a defender is ridiculous. I mean, how much did Van Dijk cost Liverpool?
Less
Than, exactly.
I said before transfer window opened with that Lacroix, German, Wolfsburg, and like 20 million. Even I think at the time you're looking at about 15 million for him. So I'd have been all over that, mate. Look for some value.
So where do you think Newcastle are going to finish at the end of the season now the transfer window is shut for all clubs?
I still probably think Europe, just because we have way less games, so we probably won't get as many injuries. But I was thinking Champions League at the start, but since everyone else has strengthened and we haven't really, I'm thinking more Europa and
There's still
Conference
January
League.
transfer window as well to think about, innit?
Yeah.
I think if we don't have injuries like we had last year, and we do a little bit in January, I still think top 6.
And then one of the other questions we've got as well is Mark Guehi in particular. Come January, would you want to see Newcastle go in for him, or do you think that we should move on?
Just move on, yeah. I mean, 5 failed bids. We're not going to get anything less than 70 million for him. Maybe
There's
next
only 18
season.
months left on his
Well, yeah,
contract,
he's only
so
got,
we'll
ain't got long left,
Euro,
has he? So.
But I think he's a good player. I think he was really good in Euros for England. I just think his price is good. I'm surprised that Palace not wanting to not to get rid of him, but move him on for that kind of money, because he's never going to be worth any more than that now.
Yeah.
So I think they've messed us about and missed out on 70 million quid.
Which is huge for them. I mean, some of the other players as well. So Elanga, would you like to see Newcastle go for him in January, or do you reckon we should move on to other targets?
Depends how much you set us back, really.
Not 60 million worth, no. If they're kind of figures, there's better players.
He's all right, isn't he? But like at Man U, I didn't think
He's
he
a
was
lot
that
of
amazing.
improvement to do, hasn't he? There's a lot of improvement in him. He's got a higher ceiling than you're not going to get any more out of Almiron. So you know where you are. Same with Murphy. I think when they play well, that's their ceiling.
I mean, the other one that we got linked with a move for, which never materialised, was James Trafford as well. It seemed a bit odd because all we've done is sign keepers, it seems. What's your kind of thoughts on that, and would you like to see that be revisited in
Well, I have a mate who's a Burnley fan, and he doesn't rate Trafford at all.
Wow.
Like, he just slags him off all the time. I mean, I don't really watch him, so I wouldn't know.
Duba's not gone anywhere, has he? So
yeah, we've got Vlachodimos as well. So
and Ruddy and Gillespie.
Ruddy, yeah.
So what you're trying to out goalkeeper Chelsea?
Right, okay, so who are we here with today?
Joe from the Magpies View.
Yeah, and then spoke to you last week.
Yep.
You said that Newcastle are going to finish second, right?
Yeah,
The transfer window slammed shut. Where do you think Newcastle's going to finish at the end of the season now?
second.
Still second, yeah?
Yeah, I still back it, to be fair. With Tonali coming back, hopefully we'll keep away from the injuries. I've got to keep going with it now because I had a lot of stick for saying second, but if it happens now, I'll be taking the glory.
How would you analyse the window as well? What's your thoughts on it?
I think it was a pretty bad window, to be fair. Like, I think we should have definitely done better. Went in a lot earlier. We seem to be going for players that we didn't really want at the start. At the end, just trying to grasp players at the end of the transfer window. I didn't really think that was needed. We should have went in for the players we could have needed earlier and got them.
Yes, if you had to rate it like a kind of school level, A to kind of F or whatever, what would you rate it?
Oh, probably like D, because we've got Lloyd Kelly. And I think he's a good player, to be fair. He's not getting the sort of recognition I think he deserves it. I mean, he looked good in the games I've seen him play.
Yeah. And then Guehi as well. Would you revisit that in January, or do you reckon that's just bridges burnt, don't do it again?
No, I reckon we shouldn't do business with Palace, I reckon, now, because, I mean, the owner, as I said in the first interview, he's just taking the mick, you know what I mean? And now I think if they ever want one of our players, we should just do it back to them personally.
Yeah.
Because they wasted a lot of our time in the transfer window there.
Do you blame it all on Palace, or do you think it's somewhat of the club? Because obviously we've got a new director in. Who...
I think it could be seen as part of the club as well, because they should have walked away earlier, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right, there we go then.